Hey class, this is Desiree and I'm making this short little tutorial for you guys so that you can reference this as you work on your GIF away from the classroom. So I'm going to start from the beginning here, and what you see right now is what the completed file should look like. So I have a bunch of different layers over here, and actually if I go up here to Window, Timeline, it'll bring up this timeline here, and I can actually see the animation play out. Okay, so that's what we're going to be making. Now, the easiest way to start is to make sure that you have all of your files already made and adjusted. So for example, this snake was on a road and I've already cut it out with my lasso tool here. So I've already done that. I've already done that with the trash, and I've already done that with the road. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a new file. So I go to File, New, and I'm going to title this GIF because that's what we're making class. And as per the assignment, you want your document size to be 400 by 400 pixels. So you can see mine is already like this. Make sure that you have this on pixels. Make sure it's not on inches or centimeters or any of these other ones. Next, you want to make sure that this is 72 for the resolution, and the color mode should probably be RGB. So make sure it's not black and white, and hit OK. So when you do that, we have a new blank document here to make our GIF that is the correct size. The next thing you're going to do is, you might not have this window already pop up, so it might look like this. I'm going to go to Window, Timeline, and that's how I get that dialog box to pop up. I'm going to go right here and make sure I select Create Frame Animation. And then once you've selected the correct option, you click on it and it will create your timeline. So the next thing I'm going to do is go get the road image. Actually, I'm going to go get all my images. So I'm going to take my marquee tool right here. I'm going to select over the entire image. I'm going to hit Command C for copy. And then when I go back to my document here, hit Command V for paste. I need to resize this, but I'll come back and do that in a minute. I'm also going to get this document out of here. So all I want is that little McDonald's bag. So what I'm going to do is take my magic wand over here, which selects based on color range, and I'm going to click the white, and you can see it's created a selection around my McDonald's bag and this border. But I know from experience that this actually has all the white space selected. So I'm going to go up to Select, Inverse, and I want to make sure that only what I'm choosing here is selected. So it is now. So again, I'm going to hit Command C. I'm going to go to my GIF layer, or my GIF document, hit Command V. Now I've pasted it there again. I'm going to do the same thing with the snake. So I'm going to select the white. I'm going to go to Select, Inverse. Make sure I only have this snake selected. Looks good. Hit Command C. Go back to my GIF document, Command V, and now I have all of my images that I'm going to need to make this GIF. So let's start making this look a little bit better. So I'm going to hide these two layers, the snake and the trash, because right now I just want to focus on getting this road the right size. So I'm going to make sure I have that layer selected over here. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Scale. I'm going to make sure I click this little link up here. What that does is it makes sure that the proportions stay the same so that you don't stretch out your image and it doesn't look wonky at all. So I'm going to resize this until I get what I want. I want something like this. I'm going to hit check mark. What that means is you're just confirming the size change, the scale change. So now what I'm going to do, because I know that I want to create a moving sort of road, I know that I need 2 of the exact same image. And as we can see here, this image is quite large. It's much bigger than the canvas itself. So what I want to do is crop it and make sure it's exactly the image size. So once I hit the crop button over here, it immediately selects the canvas. So that's perfect, that's what I want. I'm just going to hit enter, and it's going to show me what it's getting rid of. So that's the rest of the image, and it's about to crop that out. I hit enter again, and now I have cropped my image to be the exact size as my canvas, and you can see that I have no more edges, and that's perfect. So I have the image fixed. Let's go to this bag. Let's change that. Make sure I have a layer selected again. Change the scale again. I'm going to click the little chain link to constrain proportions. I'm going to make it the approximate size that I want. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit the check mark. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing with the snake. So I go to Edit, Transform, Scale, hit that little link, and I'm going to resize this until, whoops, okay. So what happened was we cropped our image with that snake on there, so it cropped the snake as well. So I'm going to go back and get that snake. There we go. So now I'm changing the size of the snake. Let's say, that's fine. Check. Okay, so now let's get into it. The important part is to know kind of where you're going to go with the GIF to begin with. So I know exactly what mine's going to look like. I want this road to move down as if we're walking on the road and we see it kind of moving past us. I want the trash to come in about halfway, and I want the snake to be kind of moving a little bit along the way. So what I know is that I need 2 images of the snake, because if you're showing movement in an animation, it's usually 2 images that are slightly different, that when you flip back and forth to them, it appears to create movement. So I'm just going to right click on this layer and hit duplicate layer. So snake 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the road, and so the shortcut for that is Command J. So it automatically duplicates that layer. I don't need a duplication of the trash. Okay, so to create a movement like this for the road, what we need to have happen is actually one image of the road needs to move down, so kind of like, so one image needs to move down while the next image comes right after it and moves down too. So that's what we're going to be creating. So I'm going to get rid of these snakes and stuff for now and just focus on the road. So the bottom layer is this one. I want it to start just a little bit showing, or a little bit not showing. So like this. And then I want my layer on top of that to be just a little piece showing. So that's my first keyframe. This is the start point. So down here, when I create a duplication of this frame, I'm going to make my end point here. So I've made my beginning point and then my end point. And then the computer, as you'll see in just a minute, will create the frames in between that. So this is my start point. Let's make my end point. My end point needs to be, this first layer needs to move all the way down, and so does this layer. So now I've created my end point, and they look slightly different. Now what I do is I add frames in between, and that's really easy with this program. You just click your first frame, and you click this little button down here. It's called the tween button. And I want this to be kind of long, so I'm going to actually do 25 frames. And I'm going to go ahead and play it just to make sure everything's working how I expect it to. Looks good. Now if I want to see how it will actually work in loop, I can change how many times it will play through. So let's just click forever and see what it looks like. Looks pretty good. It looks like a relatively seamless loop. So I'm happy with that. So now it's time to add my snake. I'll go up to my snake and remember whatever frame you're clicked on, whatever adjustments